Hi guys, today we are going to find out, what if the Library of Alexandria held alien secrets? You stand before the weathered stone foundations where humanity's greatest repository of knowledge once towered against the Mediterranean sky. The desert wind carries whispers of impossible truths as your archaeological team's ground-penetrating radar reveals hidden chambers 30 feet below. You probably won't survive the psychological shock of what you're about to discover about human history. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop your location and local time in the comments. I love seeing where this journey takes us around the globe. Now sit back and let's dive into today's alternate journey together. Your flashlight beam cuts through the darkness as you descend into chambers that shouldn't exist according to any historical record. The walls shimmer with crystalline formations that pulse with their own internal light, casting dancing shadows across hieroglyphs you've never seen before. Star maps cover every surface, but these aren't earthbound constellations. They show navigation routes between distant galaxies with mathematical precision that defies ancient capabilities. You reach toward a hovering crystal fragment, and it responds to your presence by projecting holographic images of beings with elongated skulls. The air itself seems to hum with residual energy from technologies that predate human civilization by millennia. You discover leather-bound volumes written in languages that predate Sumerian, their pages filled with detailed anatomical drawings of humanoid beings with oversized craniums. The scrolls reveal that Alexandria's head librarians weren't simply scholars collecting human knowledge. They were custodians of an extraterrestrial heritage spanning thousands of years. Ancient bloodline records show families specifically bred to understand alien mathematics, their genetic markers carefully preserved through arranged marriages across generations. You trace genealogical charts connecting these guardian families to mystery schools in Egypt, Babylon, and eventually the secret societies of medieval Europe. The librarians developed elaborate codes to hide alien knowledge within seemingly ordinary texts about agriculture, astronomy, and medicine. Your hands tremble as you open a personnel registry listing librarians with impossible lifespans, some serving for over 2 centuries without aging. Initiation rituals described in these texts involve direct neural contact with crystalline storage devices that download alien memories into human consciousness. You realize the famous scholars who studied at Alexandria, Archimedes, Euclid, Eratosthenes, were actually receiving filtered extraterrestrial knowledge through these bloodline guardians. The records show how guardian families scattered across the ancient world when Alexandria faced destruction, carrying pieces of alien wisdom to distant libraries. Secret symbols mark certain texts, indicating which volumes contain genuine human discoveries versus those derived from otherworldly sources. You find evidence that these guardian bloodlines still exist today, quietly preserving fragments of alien knowledge in private collections worldwide. You position yourself before walls covered in mathematical equations that seem to writhe and shift when you're not looking directly at them. The alien mathematics operates on principles that human minds struggle to grasp, numbers that exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Your calculator explodes into sparks when you attempt to input one of the simpler formulas, its circuits unable to process non-linear mathematical concepts. The equations describe space-time manipulation techniques that could fold distances between stars into manageable jumps across the galaxy. You trace your finger along carved symbols that feel warm to the touch, and suddenly the chamber around you begins to stretch and compress rhythmically. Ancient Greek annotations in the margins show human scholars desperately trying to translate concepts that have no earthly equivalent. The mathematical proofs extend beyond three-dimensional thinking, incorporating temporal variables that treat time as a manipulable physical dimension. You realize these equations could revolutionize human understanding of physics, making Einstein's theories look like elementary arithmetic by comparison. Certain formulas appear to be blueprints for energy generation systems that could power entire civilizations without depleting natural resources. Your head begins to throb as you attempt to comprehend mathematical relationships that describe how consciousness itself can be quantified and transferred. The wall equations seem to respond to your mental effort, glowing brighter as your understanding deepens and dimming when confusion overwhelms you. You discover that human mathematics is merely a primitive subset of a vast numerical language that governs universal creation itself. You uncover detailed star charts mapping regular flight paths between Earth and the Sirius binary star system, complete with fuel calculations and temporal adjustments. The records describe tall, ethereal beings with luminescent skin who arrived in crystalline vessels that could phase between dimensions. These Syrian visitors established teaching outposts across ancient Earth, sharing advanced knowledge about agriculture, medicine, astronomy, and consciousness manipulation. You discover that many fundamental human innovations, from metallurgy to written language, were actually gifts from these extraterrestrial mentors rather than independent human developments. The aliens operated under strict non-interference protocols, only sharing knowledge that humanity could theoretically discover within natural evolutionary timelines. Detailed logs show regular diplomatic exchanges between Syrian representatives and ancient Earth leaders, including pharaohs, Sumerian kings, and Atlantean councils. You find evidence that these beings lived among humans for extended periods, some taking human mates and creating hybrid bloodlines with enhanced cognitive abilities. The Syrians possessed advanced genetic manipulation techniques, subtly guiding human evolution to increase brain capacity and spiritual sensitivity over generations. Their primary mission involved preparing humanity for eventual integration into a galactic confederation of intelligent species. You realize that human religious traditions about angels, gods descending from heaven, and divine messengers are actually cultural memories of these Syrian visitations. The records indicate that contact gradually decreased as human civilizations became more warlike and less receptive to peaceful guidance. Final entries suggest the Syrians retreated but left monitoring stations and promised to return when humanity achieved spiritual maturity. You discover Julius Caesar's private correspondence revealing his true motivation for conquering Egypt wasn't gold or grain, but securing alien technology hidden in Alexandria's deepest vaults. Roman intelligence reports describe mysterious weapons that could level entire cities with focused energy beams, far beyond anything conventional armies could comprehend. Caesar's personal notes express his obsession with obtaining immortality serums that Syrian visitors had supposedly left behind for humanity's eventual use. You find detailed invasion plans showing Caesar coordinated his Egyptian campaign specifically around astronomical events when alien monitoring systems would be temporarily offline. Secret Roman engineering corps were already prepared with specialized excavation equipment designed to breach the library's hidden underground chambers. The correspondence reveals Caesar had been in contact with surviving members of the Guardian bloodlines who promised to trade alien secrets for political protection. You realize Cleopatra wasn't just Caesar's lover, but his co-conspirator in accessing extraterrestrial knowledge that could cement their combined empire's dominance for millennia. Roman military records describe successful field tests of reverse-engineered alien communication devices that could transmit messages instantly across vast distances. Caesar's ultimate plan involved using alien technology to transform Rome from a terrestrial empire into humanity's first interplanetary civilization. The documents show how Caesar's assassination wasn't just political. It was orchestrated by those who feared humanity wasn't ready for such advanced capabilities. You discover that Mark Antony inherited Caesar's alien technology research, but lacked the Guardian bloodline connections necessary to properly utilize the devices. The failure to secure Alexandria's alien secrets ultimately contributed to Rome's gradual decline, as competing civilizations began accessing fragments of extraterrestrial knowledge independently. You uncover evidence that the famous Library of Alexandria fire wasn't accidental destruction, but a carefully orchestrated cover-up to prevent alien technology from falling into the wrong hands. Secret Guardian testimonies reveal they received advance warning of impending invasions and had mere hours to decide humanity's technological future. The Guardians deliberately ignited specific sections containing the most dangerous alien weapons blueprints while secretly evacuating less threatening knowledge to hidden locations. You find detailed evacuation logs showing how Guardian families smuggled crystalline storage devices and alien texts through underground tunnels before the flames spread. The fire served as the perfect diversion, allowing Guardians to stage the apparent destruction of extraterrestrial evidence while actually relocating it to secure vaults worldwide. Roman soldiers arriving at the scene found only smoldering ruins and assumed they had lost their chance at alien technology forever. You discover that some alien devices were deliberately destroyed because their power exceeded humanity's capacity for responsible use by several millennia. Guardian records show agonizing debates about which technologies could safely remain on Earth versus those requiring complete elimination. The controlled burn took 3 days to complete, with Guardians carefully monitoring which sections survived to maintain the illusion of random destruction. You realize that historical accounts blaming Julius Caesar, Christian zealots, or Muslim conquerors were all convenient cover stories protecting the Guardians' true actions. Surviving fragments of alien knowledge were scattered across multiple continents, ensuring no single power could ever again threaten to monopolize extraterrestrial wisdom. The Great Fire of Alexandria represents humanity's first major act of technological self-regulation in response to otherworldly temptation. You follow ancient tunnel systems that extend far beyond Alexandria's foundations, connecting to a vast underground network spanning continents. The passageways stretch beneath the Mediterranean seafloor, linking Alexandria to similar repositories in Babylon, Athens, and eventually the hidden libraries of Tibet. Your underground exploration reveals way stations equipped with alien-breathing apparatus and luminescent guidance systems that still function after millennia. Each tunnel junction contains crystalline message centers where Guardian families could communicate across vast distances using extraterrestrial communication technology. You discover that the tunnel network predates human civilization, suggesting these passages were originally constructed by the Syrian visitors themselves. The underground routes follow precise geometric patterns that align with Earth's magnetic field lines and gravitational anomalies. Guardian maps show additional tunnel branches extending to the Americas, connecting ancient sites like Machu Picchu and Chichen Itza to the global knowledge network. You find evidence that Viking expeditions and Polynesian navigation were secretly guided by Guardian families who used the tunnel network for rapid intercontinental travel. The tunnels contain automated sorting systems that cataloged and distributed alien knowledge based on humanity's technological readiness in different regions. Emergency protocols built into the tunnel network could instantly seal all passages if extraterrestrial knowledge faced imminent discovery by unprepared civilizations. You realize that many unexplained archaeological mysteries, from Easter Island statues to Nazca lines, were actually markers indicating tunnel entrance points. The network remains partially active today, with modern Guardian descendants still maintaining critical knowledge distribution points beneath major world capitals. You examine alien medical technologies that could have prevented humanity's descent into the Dark Ages by eliminating diseases that devastated medieval populations. The healing devices operate on quantum cellular regeneration principles, capable of repairing genetic damage and reversing aging processes at the molecular level. You discover treatment protocols for conditions that wouldn't be medically understood by humans for another 1,000 years: cancer, diabetes, neurological disorders, and genetic defects. Alien surgical instruments made from crystalline materials could perform operations without leaving scars, their energy fields naturally sterilizing and healing tissue simultaneously. The medical texts describe consciousness transfer techniques that could preserve human minds during physical body failures, effectively conquering death itself. You realize these technologies could have accelerated human evolution by eliminating genetic bottlenecks that limited cognitive development throughout history. Mental enhancement procedures outlined in the texts could have elevated average human intelligence to genius levels within a few generations. The aliens developed psychological healing methods that could repair trauma, eliminate mental illness, and optimize brain chemistry for peak performance. You find evidence that some ancient miracle healers were actually Guardian descendants using carefully rationed alien medical knowledge. The technologies include bioengineering techniques for creating enhanced human hybrids with improved physical capabilities and extended lifespans. Emergency medical protocols could have prevented the devastating plagues that repeatedly set back human civilization's progress for centuries. You discover that the Guardians deliberately withheld these medical advances, fearing they would create an immortal ruling class that could exploit ordinary humans indefinitely. You discover a dormant portal device hidden behind false walls, its crystalline framework still humming with residual energy after centuries of inactivity. The Stargate's control interface displays navigation coordinates for dozens of star systems, each marked with symbols indicating civilization advancement levels. Ancient activation logs show regular communication sessions between Earth's astronomers and their counterparts on distant worlds throughout the galaxy. You realize that humanity's greatest scientific discoveries weren't independent breakthroughs, but collaborative research projects spanning multiple solar systems. The portal technology allowed instantaneous transmission of knowledge, enabling Earth scholars to participate in galactic academic conferences without leaving Alexandria. Communication records reveal ongoing debates between Earth and alien civilizations about humanity's readiness for advanced technological integration. You find evidence that some of history's most brilliant minds, Archimedes, Ptolemy, Hypatia, were actually receiving direct guidance from extraterrestrial mentors. The Stargate required precise astronomical alignments to function, explaining why certain historical periods saw rapid scientific advancement while others stagnated. Emergency shutdown protocols were triggered when Roman military forces began approaching Alexandria, severing Earth's connection to the galactic community. You discover backup communication systems that maintained limited contact with alien observers even after the main portal deactivated. The device's memory banks contain detailed surveys of human psychological development, tracking humanity's progress toward cosmic citizenship. Final transmission logs show alien disappointment as Earth civilizations chose warfare over wisdom, forcing the suspension of direct galactic contact indefinitely. You uncover Roman military records detailing the systematic reverse engineering of captured alien weapons that transformed their legions into an unstoppable galactic force. The Empire's most elite units were secretly equipped with energy shields that could deflect any conventional weapon known to ancient warfare. Roman engineers developed mass production techniques for alien communication devices, enabling instant coordination across their vast territories without relying on messenger systems. You discover that Rome's famous road network followed precise geometric patterns designed to amplify the power distribution from hidden alien energy generators. The legion's tactical superiority stemmed from predictive battle algorithms that calculated enemy movements using extraterrestrial computational mathematics. Roman naval supremacy resulted from ships equipped with alien propulsion systems that could navigate against wind and current with supernatural efficiency. You find evidence that Roman medical corps used alien healing technologies to keep soldiers fighting, despite injuries that would normally prove fatal. The Empire's intelligence network utilized alien surveillance devices capable of monitoring conversations and troop movements from impossible distances. Rome's economic dominance came from alien metallurgy techniques that produced stronger, lighter materials than any competitor civilization could manufacture. You realize that Rome's rapid territorial expansion wasn't just military prowess, but the systematic application of otherworldly technological advantages. The alien arsenal included weather manipulation devices that could create favorable battle conditions or devastate enemy crops through targeted climate control. Rome's eventual decline began when their alien technology reserves were exhausted, and they lacked the scientific understanding to create replacements independently. You discover urgent alien messages warning that humanity's aggressive nature could lead to self-destruction before achieving the wisdom necessary for cosmic integration. The Watchers had observed countless civilizations throughout the galaxy make similar mistakes, leading to nuclear annihilation or environmental collapse within centuries of technological advancement. Their warnings specifically mentioned humanity's tendency toward territorial warfare and resource exploitation as critical evolutionary bottlenecks requiring careful guidance. You find detailed psychological profiles analyzing human tribal instincts and recommending gradual consciousness expansion techniques to overcome primitive competitive behaviors. The aliens had established monitoring stations throughout Earth's solar system to observe humanity's progress and intervene only if extinction appeared imminent. Warning protocols described specific intervention thresholds: nuclear weapons development, irreversible climate damage, or the emergence of artificial intelligence without ethical frameworks. You realize that many unexplained historical events were actually subtle alien interventions designed to prevent humanity from crossing dangerous technological boundaries prematurely. The Watchers expressed particular concern about human leaders who might weaponize alien technology for conquest rather than using it for species advancement. Their messages revealed contingency plans for relocating promising human specimens to distant worlds if Earth became uninhabitable through human actions. You discover that the aliens had been secretly influencing human spiritual and philosophical development, hoping to accelerate emotional maturity alongside technological progress. The warnings included detailed timelines showing critical decision points where humanity would either achieve cosmic consciousness or destroy itself within predictable timeframes. Final messages indicated the Watchers' growing pessimism about human potential, leading to their gradual withdrawal from direct involvement in Earth's affairs. You trace the flow of preserved alien knowledge into the Islamic world, where scholars in Baghdad's House of Wisdom became the new guardians of extraterrestrial secrets. The Islamic Golden Age wasn't just a renaissance of human learning, but humanity's second chance to properly integrate otherworldly wisdom into civilization. You discover that Islamic mathematicians like Al-Khwarizmi weren't just developing algebra independently. They were deciphering alien mathematical concepts hidden within rescued Alexandrian texts. The translation movement that brought Greek works into Arabic also secretly preserved fragments of Syrian scientific knowledge that had survived the library's destruction. You find evidence that Islamic astronomers possessed star charts showing galactic navigation routes, explaining their unprecedented accuracy in celestial observations. Medical advances by physicians like Al-Razi and Ibn Sina incorporated alien healing principles, leading to treatments that wouldn't be rediscovered in Europe for centuries. The Islamic world's technological innovations, advanced optics, mechanical engineering, chemical processes, all showed subtle influences of extraterrestrial knowledge integration. You realize that Islamic philosophical concepts about the unity of knowledge and cosmic harmony reflected alien teachings about universal consciousness. The Crusades represented more than religious conflict. They were attempts by European powers to capture the Islamic world's alien-derived technological advantages. You discover that some Islamic mystical traditions, particularly Sufism, preserved alien consciousness expansion techniques disguised as spiritual practices. The gradual decline of the Islamic Golden Age coincided with increasing religious orthodoxy that suppressed the remaining alien knowledge as heretical. Many alien texts were deliberately destroyed during periods of religious fundamentalism, leaving only fragmentary references in coded scholarly works. You uncover Vatican archives revealing the Catholic Church's systematic campaign to identify and destroy every remaining fragment of alien knowledge across medieval Europe. Papal inquisitors were secretly trained to recognize otherworldly technologies disguised as religious artifacts or hidden within illuminated manuscripts. The Church established special burning protocols for alien texts that required specific temperatures and containment procedures to prevent the release of residual energies. You discover that many accused witches and heretics were actually guardian bloodline descendants attempting to preserve extraterrestrial knowledge through coded practices. The Vatican's library contains detailed catalogs of confiscated alien devices, most of which were melted down or buried in consecrated ground to prevent future discovery. Church scholars spent centuries developing theological arguments to explain away any remaining evidence of non-human intelligence as demonic deceptions. You find evidence that some high-ranking church officials secretly studied captured alien knowledge while publicly condemning it as satanic influence. The suppression campaign extended beyond Europe, with missionary expeditions specifically targeting indigenous cultures that showed signs of preserving alien wisdom. Medieval universities were carefully monitored to ensure no professor accidentally rediscovered principles that could lead back to extraterrestrial origins. The Church's opposition to scientific advancement wasn't just religious conservatism but deliberate prevention of humanity redeveloping dangerous alien capabilities. You realize that the Renaissance occurred partly because some hidden alien knowledge survived the medieval purges and began influencing European scholars again. The Vatican's final victory came when they successfully convinced most of humanity that angels, demons, and miracles were purely supernatural rather than technological phenomena. You discover how Leonardo da Vinci gained access to surviving alien technology fragments through secret networks connecting Renaissance masters to hidden guardian bloodlines. Da Vinci's famous flying machine designs weren't just human imagination, but careful reverse engineering of extraterrestrial aircraft propulsion systems he studied in underground workshops. His anatomical drawings contained hidden annotations describing alien physiology and advanced surgical techniques that wouldn't be officially discovered for centuries. You find evidence that the Renaissance masters formed secret societies specifically dedicated to preserving and advancing alien knowledge while avoiding church persecution. Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel ceiling contains coded references to extraterrestrial visitation, disguised as biblical scenes, but recognizable to initiated guardian descendants. The printing press wasn't just Gutenberg's invention, but a collaborative effort using alien information storage and replication technologies adapted for human use. You realize that many Renaissance inventions were actually rediscoveries of alien technologies that had been deliberately concealed during medieval suppression campaigns. Secret workshops beneath major European cities housed alien artifacts that Renaissance masters studied to advance human understanding of engineering and medicine. The scientific method itself emerged from alien analytical techniques preserved in coded manuscripts and passed down through guardian bloodline networks. You discover that Galileo's telescope improvements incorporated alien optical principles, explaining his unprecedented astronomical observations that threatened church doctrine. Renaissance art schools secretly taught students to recognize and preserve alien symbolic languages embedded within traditional religious and mythological imagery. The period's rapid technological advancement represented humanity's third major attempt to properly integrate extraterrestrial knowledge into civilization after Alexandria and the Islamic Golden Age. You connect Alexandria's ancient secrets to modern government black projects spanning from World War II Nazi experiments to contemporary UFO cover-ups. The Nazi occult research divisions weren't just pursuing mysticism, but actively seeking surviving alien technology fragments scattered across Europe during medieval dispersals. You discover that Operation Paperclip brought Nazi scientists to America not just for rocket technology, but because they had uncovered pieces of extraterrestrial knowledge. The Roswell incident and similar UFO crashes weren't first contact, but reconnection with alien monitoring systems that had been observing Earth for millennia. Modern government facilities like Area 51 serve as contemporary versions of Alexandria's hidden chambers, secretly studying and reverse engineering otherworldly technologies. You find evidence that many 20th century technological breakthroughs, transistors, lasers, fiber optics, were actually reverse engineered from recovered alien artifacts. The Cold War space race represented competing superpowers trying to redevelop alien spacecraft capabilities using fragmentary knowledge preserved from ancient times. Government UFO disclosure programs carefully release sanitized information while concealing the true scope of humanity's long-standing extraterrestrial connections. You realize that modern conspiracy theories about alien cover-ups are partially correct but miss the deeper historical context spanning thousands of years. Secret government archives contain genealogical records tracking Guardian bloodline descendants who still possess fragments of ancient alien knowledge. The internet age has made it increasingly difficult for governments to maintain the traditional secrecy surrounding extraterrestrial knowledge preservation. Modern attempts to suppress alien-derived technologies face the same challenges that defeated the Roman Empire, medieval church, and other historical cover-up campaigns. You realize that most alien knowledge remains hidden in undiscovered vaults beneath major historical sites, waiting for humanity to develop sufficient wisdom for proper utilization. Ground-penetrating surveys reveal massive underground complexes beneath the pyramids of Giza, Stonehenge, Machu Picchu, and dozens of other ancient monuments worldwide. These sites weren't just religious or ceremonial structures, but carefully positioned access points to a global network of alien knowledge repositories. You discover that many archaeological excavations have been deliberately limited or classified to prevent accidental discovery of extraterrestrial evidence. The missing pieces of human history lie buried beneath layers of sediment and bureaucratic secrecy, protected by guardian descendants and government agencies alike. Advanced scanning technology reveals crystalline storage systems still active beneath Easter Island, pulsing with energy signatures that match those found in Alexandria's ruins. You find evidence that certain natural disasters throughout history were actually triggered to protect alien vaults from premature discovery by unprepared civilizations. The Guardian bloodlines maintain detailed maps showing the locations of surviving alien repositories, but accessing them requires specific genetic markers and consciousness preparation. Modern attempts to breach these vaults using conventional technology result in system shutdowns designed to prevent unauthorized access by those lacking proper authorization. You realize that some contemporary archaeological mysteries, like the Antikythera mechanism or Baghdad battery, are fragments that accidentally surfaced from deeper alien collections. The complete alien knowledge base remains intact somewhere beneath the Sahara Desert, in a vast complex that could revolutionize human understanding of physics and consciousness. Satellite imagery shows geometric anomalies in remote locations worldwide, suggesting that alien technology preservation extends far beyond known historical sites. You contemplate how radically different human civilization would be if alien wisdom had guided our development openly, rather than being hidden and suppressed throughout history. Without the need for fossil fuels, humanity might have developed clean energy systems millennia ago, preventing climate change and environmental destruction. Medical advances could have eliminated most diseases, extended human lifespans to centuries, and enhanced cognitive abilities across entire populations. You realize that wars over resources would have been unnecessary with alien matter conversion technologies that could transform any element into whatever materials civilizations required. Human space exploration could have begun thousands of years earlier, establishing interplanetary colonies and joining galactic confederations as equal partners. The class systems and inequality that defined human history might never have emerged if alien consciousness expansion techniques had been widely available. You imagine Earth as a garden world where human creativity flourished alongside environmental harmony, supported by technologies that worked with natural systems. Scientific understanding would have advanced exponentially, with humanity contributing unique perspectives to galactic knowledge rather than struggling to rediscover basic principles. Art, music, and culture could have incorporated multidimensional concepts and cosmic consciousness, creating beauty beyond current human comprehension. The psychological trauma that shaped human civilization, fear, scarcity, territorial aggression, might have been healed through alien emotional regulation technologies. You wonder if humanity would have evolved into a completely different species, physically and mentally adapted for cosmic citizenship rather than planetary survival. Perhaps the greatest loss was humanity's potential role as bridge builders between different galactic civilizations, offering our unique blend of creativity and adaptability. You face the ultimate question that has haunted Guardian bloodlines for millennia. Is modern humanity finally ready to handle the truth about our extraterrestrial heritage? The evidence suggests that human consciousness has evolved enough to potentially integrate alien knowledge without the destructive outcomes that plagued previous civilizations. Yet the same tribal instincts and power struggles that concerned the original Watchers continue to dominate international politics and social structures. You realize that the choice isn't just about revealing hidden technology, but fundamentally transforming how humans perceive their place in the cosmic community. The surviving Guardian descendants face an impossible decision: maintain protective secrecy or risk humanity's potential self-destruction through premature revelation. Modern global communication systems could spread alien knowledge instantly worldwide, making controlled disclosure impossible once the truth begins emerging. You discover that some Guardian families believe humanity's current environmental and social crises indicate we're approaching the critical decision point the Watchers predicted. The alien monitoring systems, dormant for centuries, show recent signs of reactivation, as if responding to humanity's technological milestone achievements. You contemplate whether popular culture's gradual acceptance of extraterrestrial concepts represents unconscious preparation for eventual disclosure. The decision ultimately rests with ordinary humans like yourself, those who stumble upon fragments of truth and must choose between comfortable ignorance and transformative knowledge. You realize that by uncovering Alexandria's secrets, you've become part of the ancient conspiracy to preserve humanity's cosmic inheritance for future generations. The question remains: will you seal these secrets away again, or help humanity take its next evolutionary step into galactic citizenship? The ancient stones of Alexandria whisper their final secrets as you emerge from the hidden chambers, forever changed by the knowledge you've uncovered. You carry within your mind the weight of humanity's cosmic heritage and the profound responsibility that comes with understanding our true place in the universe. The choice between revelation and concealment isn't just yours alone. It belongs to every person who will encounter fragments of this truth in their lifetime. Perhaps the most remarkable discovery isn't the alien technology itself, but humanity's consistent pattern of both reaching for the stars and pulling back in fear. The Library of Alexandria's greatest treasure wasn't its books or artifacts, but its reminder that knowledge, once unleashed, can never truly be contained forever. As you walk away from the ruins, you realize that every generation faces the same fundamental question about whether humanity deserves the cosmic inheritance waiting patiently for our collective wisdom. The aliens haven't abandoned us. They're simply waiting for us to grow into the species they always believed we could become. And maybe, just maybe, that transformation begins with individuals like you who dare to look beyond comfortable assumptions and embrace uncomfortable truths. What do you think would happen if humanity suddenly gained access to advanced alien technology tomorrow? Would we use it to heal our world or find new ways to destroy ourselves?